Hello all and welcome to this week's VLCeed for October 4th, I believe it is, 2021. Our topic for this week, wisdom. Wisdom specifically is doing. Let me explain. This statement can be taken a couple different ways. I suppose some people could interpret it as you shouldn't sit around or wait for something to happen. You should act. Okay, I got that, and that's a great interpretation, but the interpretation I'm talking about is this. There's many things that we know, okay? We know that there are foods that are bad for our health. We know that exercise is good for us. We know that pointing fingers at someone else for our own problems doesn't solve our problems. And yet, many skip exercise in lieu of going out to eat all the things they shouldn't, and over dinner take great joy in blaming others for their woes. I mean, that's not wisdom. Wisdom is putting into action the things that we know, the things that we have learned, the things that we are still learning. Just this past week, I had to have we'll call it a courageous conversation with a person who was convinced that their problem was due to me. I knew the conversation was going to happen. I gathered my facts, and while I was able to put together a successful rebuttal, I'm not sure I did anything to strengthen the relationship or make the situation better. And I just finished the book, How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. There's like 20 ideas in that book, at least 20 that I could have used in that conversation, but I used what? Maybe two, maybe one. If I had used more, I would have not just formed a successful rebuttal, I would have held my ground while strengthening the relationship and making the situation better. I believe every situation brings with it learning. And so while I could sit back satisfied that, I held my ground in that conversation, reflecting and acting in a way that improves future conversations is how I will grow as a communicator. Learning, when put into action, is wisdom. Wisdom is not a thought. Wisdom is an act. And with that, I have a question and a challenge for you for this week. Think back to this past week. What are several specific situations that provided learning for you? It doesn't matter. They could be successes or failures. And my challenge to you is to write down the specific lessons that you learned from these, as many as possible. I'm not talking about writing down the situation. I'm talking about writing down the things that you learned and possibly even things that you could have done better. Okay? And that list of what you could have done better, that's your working list for this next week. Remember, you write them down. Don't just keep them in your head. Write them down. And this week, act on those lessons. Look at them every day if you need to. And put specific actions into play every single day. Remember, wisdom isn't the list itself. Wisdom is not reflection. Wisdom is the action that stems from your learning and stems from your reflection. Okay, I can tell you the one thing that I am going to do when I communicate with people is I'm going to make sure that they know that my goal is to help them. I should have said that in that conversation, and that's something that I will do this week. Okay, that's it for this week's VLCeed. I hope you have a great week, and we'll see you next time. Take care.